All right, welcome to another episode of The Minority Voice. I'm your host, Jeff Vega. And as I always mention to you, please comment, share, like the whole 9 yards, and also subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything. It helps the algorithms and all that other good stuff. But hey, Dave, I'm going to talk about the economy today. How's your economy coming along?
It could be better. Never make enough money, right?
Isn't that the truth? Well, you're not in line for another raise for a minute, so
That's unfortunate.
so
I want one more breath.
you'll need to listen to this segment because the way the economy's going now, you're going to have to start pinching your pennies. And that being said, why don't you play this first video?
Hello, I'm Michelle McQuarrie, and this is Kitco News. Warren Buffett is now the latest to join those sounding the alarm about inflation, saying he is seeing substantial price increases across the board. Treasury Secretary Yellen seemed to acknowledge that inflation is coming and that rates may need to be raised, and then she later backpedaled.
So Warren Buffett says we're having inflation. Okay, now it didn't take a billionaire for me to realize that, because as you can see, I've got some product here that I want to share with you about that I know there's some serious inflation. And I find it interesting that the Treasury Secretary, Janet Yellen, first she says there is, and then she backtracks, because they want to fool us and make us think that what's real is not real. And that being said, we have to live in reality. And as you can see here, I brought some product today, you see, because those of you that follow me on Facebook, I post a lot on my ranch, and I have 5 dogs, Great Pyrenees, and they're like my kids. Actually, I probably treat them better than I treated my kids, but could that be, Dave?
Will it give me a raise if I say yeah?
Okay, no. But anyways, that being said, well, I feed my dogs for breakfast. I said I got 5. So I feed them 2 dozen eggs, scrambled eggs, for breakfast, and a pound of hot dogs. And at dinner time, I feed them a pound of hot dogs and a cup of dry food. Well, 6 months ago, I could get, now these happen to be an 18 count. I buy them in the 18 counts because there's more. But 6 months ago in Howell at Walmart, I could get these for 48 cents a dozen. Hot dogs, just a month ago, these 1 pound package of hot dogs, I would get for $1 a pack. Now, today, these cost me $1.28, and the eggs cost me, 98 cents a dozen. So when you do the math, at $1, now it's $1.28. So 2 of these a day comes out to be an extra 56 cents a day. You times that by 365 days out of the year. So that comes out to $204 more a year I'm paying for hot dogs for my dogs. As far as the eggs are concerned, when you multiply $1.08 a day, times that by 365, that comes up to $394.20 a year. And then the dry dog food that I get them a 50-pound bag. They go through a week, and it's went up $2 a bag. So you times $2 times 52, that comes out to be $104 a year. Now I'm throwing all these numbers at you, but when you add it all together, to feed my dogs this year, it's going to cost me an extra $702.60. Now you think, well, that's not too bad. Well, I mean, anybody got an extra $700? You got an extra $700, Dave?
Well, not that I'm spending food.
No. Okay. For my dogs, right?
Not for the dogs.
Okay. Okay. But let's add. That's just one aspect of my life. Now, let's talk about the gasoline. It's up $1 since the beginning of the year. Now, I've got this nice gas guzzler SUV, which I love and I'm not getting rid of. Cost me, I use about two tankfuls a week. So at 25 gallons a tank, you might say it's a little bit more, but let's for mathematical sense, 25 gallons. So two tanks a week, that comes out to 50 gallons a week. You multiply that by 52 weeks, you're looking at $2,600 that I'm spending extra a year. You add those two factors together, and now I am spending $3,302.60 just on those two items. Now, I'm not crying because you know what? I love my dogs and I love my SUV, okay? I'm not gonna change my habits because of this, but I'm fortunate enough that I can do that. But, you know, people that are on fixed incomes and have jobs where, you know, they make just X amount a week and that's all, that's going to be a hit when you look at inflation that they're going to have to adjust to. Now, and I'm sharing this with you now because, you know, we're going into the 4th of July weekend and I know everybody's going to be cooking out, barbecuing, the whole 9 yards, and you're going to spend a little bit more money than you normally do on the weekends. And, you know, it's something that you should begin to take a look at and say, hey, you know what? Maybe through this little wave that we're having of inflation that I should probably start looking at it, possibly cracking down on a budget, because if you don't, the next thing you know, you're going to find yourself in the hole, and you know it's going to be much more difficult, I should say, to pull yourself out of. And that being said, you know, don't be naive to think that this is not on the horizon. So, and I'm just sharing this with you today because, as I said, you know, it's there and we have to be aware of what's going on, because if we're not, we're going to get blindsided. And, you know, no one needs to be blindsided, especially in this economy. And so that's kind of like my little financial advice I want to give you going into this weekend. So until next time, Joshua 24:15.